The Vinquibus is incredibly interesting, and trust me when I say that you want to run it with gas, but let me explain why, and sit tight. It's going to be a longer one today because it's a really cool combo but needs some explaining. So the Vinquibus is the first weapon in a new class called Bayonets, where it takes up both your primary and your melee slot, with different mod loadouts for each, but they share their polarities for their mod slots, and each form, melee or primary, has its own unique trait that buffs the other mode. The primary version has Vinquibus Precision, which will give the melee 250% damage for its next 2 attacks for each headshot that you land with the rifle, for up to 16 attacks total. The melee version of the trait, Vinquibus Ferocity, will give the rifle mode 100% ammo efficiency for your next 4 shots, stacking up to 16 shots, and for those who might not know what that means, those 16 shots won't consume any ammo at all, essentially meaning that you'll have 24 rounds to use before you need to reload. You can see how many charges you have for each mode on the side of the reticle. The melee mode stacks are on the left, and melee attacks will consume the left side's charges, and will charge the rifle mode on the right side of the reticle and vice versa. But there's an interesting trick to this that's hidden deep in the code of gas. Simply put, to save time, gas clouds created by the melee mode will always count as melee damage, even while using the rifle, so any kills with the melee's gas clouds will still continue to activate the buff for the rifle mode and vice versa. With that in mind, I've built out my Vinquibus to be working for both modes, with a gas on the melee to be spread around with either influence or afflictions with the forward block combo because it has slams, and the rifle mode to be able to dish out high critical damage with some pretty beefy headshots. The whole idea is to use the melee to charge the rifle, switch over to rifle when it's fully charged, then use all the charges and ammunition in the rifle, and instead of reloading, you swap over to your melee weapon and use all of its damage increasing charges while simultaneously charging the rifle side, and continue swapping between the two. With Dexterity Arcanes on our weapons, we're not going to be worried about losing our combo counter on the melee when we switch to rifle, and Dexterity will increase the rifle mode's damage by a good chunk as well. But I also 100% use Narman and its really cool new ult with his combo, but I'll be covering that in a few days. One important thing that I quickly said there was to switch to melee before you reload the rifle, which you might have picked up on. And that's because we'll let the synth mod set reload the weapon for you instead of having to deal with this unfortunate 3-second reload time. So I personally run synth deconstruct on my companion and synth charge on a pistol, letting the rifle fully reload by the time we're done using up its melee mode's buffs. Now, quick thing of note here is that because both modes have really high base critical chance, Arcane Hotshot works perfectly with its 300% additive critical chance. So be sure to try this out with my Uriel build that I'm using here, which you can find over on my YouTube channel, and I've linked it in the description for you. And as always, the 3 builds mods are at the end. For the rifle mode, 1 for melee afflictions, and another for influence, and sub for more tips, and swing by my stream if you need any help.